Welcome to the Keep PounDEN pregame here on the Riot Network, powered by Ortho Carolina. Tonight, we're talking Panthers Steelers here for the next half hour and taking your thoughts as they come in right through the Riot Report website, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, right up until game time at Heinz Field, which I believe is around 8:20, but we'll be off before then. We'll let you all get down to your couches or even down to your seats if you're over in Pittsburgh. Quickly, for those of you joining in for the first time, check out our podcast. We're over on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify throughout the week. And give us a Twitter follow. I'm at Keep PounDEN. Bobby's at Tacos and Slurpees. And Chris, who hopefully will be able to come back with us, is at PepperJack NBB. Weather at kickoff tonight, right around 40 degrees with a 15% chance of rain. There goes my weatherman career. And very low wind tonight in Pittsburgh. And we're going to get right into some of the key matchups and more. So let's bring on Bobby here. If you guys have to forgive me, I do have to adjust my. See, look at this, Bobby. I knew that something would go wrong. So what I'm going to do is I had the two backs. Oh, and now Chris joins. Look at that. That's my life in a nutshell right there. I was all ready.
This is what happens when we go live, guys. You guys get to see it.
well, you guys just saw that. I said something's going to go wrong tonight, so let me plan the two shot. And then
it only happened because you said it.
I didn't have to do anything. But hey, David Tepper is over at the Roaring Riot tailgate, getting fired up. It's a pretty big test for his Panthers in his old stomping grounds. But before we get into that, we have to talk about this. What's going on pregame, guys?
What's going on, man?
Got Cam Newton on the left, and I'm pretty sure that's Big Ben on the right. I'm 100% sure that's Big Ben on the right, looking like Indiana Jones, like 15 years later, like Kane Undertaker. Look right now.
I didn't know who that was in the picture you sent. I thought you were just being funny.
Well, that's why Bobby said, "Is that Matt Khalil or Ryan Khalil?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure that's Big Ben."
Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah. Well, who is it then?
That looks like an offensive lineman, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's definitely Big Ben.
No way.
No swag, though. I'll give it to him. The coat, you kind of got some swag. But you got to do something about that backpack, man.
That's not Big Ben.
It actually didn't say who it was, so I don't know. But
maybe it's bigger. It might be Bigger Ben. Maybe that's his new nickname.
I thought it was Tyler Larson at first because shaved head with a beard.
Yeah, speaking of Tyler Larson, I saw that Ryan Khalil was out in pregame warmups, looking pretty good.
Yes.
I don't know if they've actually officially announced that he'll be.
Yeah, he's playing.
Okay,
yeah.
good. So that's a big deal. But hey, yeah, like I said, man, this is such a big game. We're gonna go through some fill in the blanks. We're gonna bring on your comments if you are joining us for the first time. Usually we do this in the post game. But we bring in your comments, so feel free to let us know on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. We'll bring you into the conversation here.
And MySpace.
Well, J-Rod saying the graphic doesn't go bad. The graphic was fine. I thought I had to switch it up, but Chris came on the back end. I was over-prepared tonight, so we'll take that. But if that's what you're talking about. But let's get to some of the key matchups. Again, we're only going to be on here for a half hour or so. I'm going to bring up the obvious one. Now, I hate saying quarterbacks play each other, so I'm not going to say Cam versus Big Ben. I'm going to use the word or. Which quarterback do you think has a bigger game tonight, Cam or Big Ben? What's that with you, Bobby?
I think Big Ben's going to have the bigger game. We know Cam can sling it, but we don't really pass for more than like 250. Like 250, 260 mark is where we cut it. Big Ben and losses, he'll throw for 350. So I really see Big Ben having a bigger game with his arm. So I'll give it to Big Ben.
Chris, what do you got?
Yeah, I think from a statistical standpoint, Big Ben is averaging 330 a game for his career at the ketchup bottle. So, I mean, I don't see Cam throwing for 300 plus. Not that he couldn't, but that's just like Bobby. He hit the nail on the head. We don't try to throw for 300 plus. So I think Cam wins the game. But I think Ben probably has the better stats.
Yeah, looking at it throughout the year, Ben fifth in the league in passing, 64.5% completion percentage. That's not quite 67. So depends on how you want to look at that. Also, Ben 16 touchdowns to 7 interceptions this year. Of course, even without Le'Veon Bell, has a running game in James Conner. So I think that will play in. A big part in this game. We'll see how that goes just a little later. let's pull up one of the other bigger matchups here. I think this is the biggest one. I think this is the one we're going to stick with the longest. Bobby, you texted me earlier saying that came out that Juju Smith-Schuster will actually be playing in the slot tonight. Now, that's interesting.
He lines up in the slot 69% of the time, and apparently some type of news broke as to where he's going to play even more than that in the slot tonight. And can you blame him? I mean, if I was a wide receiver on the team at my exact height and weight right now, I wouldn't line up against Captain Munderland. So I don't know, man. Like I'm not going to lie, maybe 2.5% of me dipped down from my 100% win tonight when I heard that, because I'm like, Juju ain't a joke, and Captain can be.
Did you just reveal your game pick, Bobby?
I heard it.
Potentially.
Yeah, I heard that too. But I think that speaking of the matchup, though, just the Steelers wide receivers in general versus the Panthers, I put corners, but it's really the defensive backs. I think you can throw Eric Reed into that. But, Ryan Switzer out there is one of them we talked about. Jesse James.
Tar Heel legend, Ryan Switzer.
Jesse James also is someone that scares me. Every tight end in the league scares me against this team. Early in the week, I mentioned, this is a year that I'm not as worried with the number ones like AB or Julio. I'm worried about all the other little guys.
Yeah.
If you had to put the Steelers wide receivers up against the whole, I guess we'll call it the whole Panthers secondary, who do you give the edge to there? Because both sides doing pretty well. I mean, Mike Adams and Dante Jackson up in the top 5 in the NFL in interceptions. I know those are interceptions, not necessarily stops, on defense. Right. But who do you give the edge to in this matchup? We'll start with Chris. Where's the edge here as far as wide receivers versus cornerbacks?
This one's pretty tough because, again, just on paper, we expect for them to air the ball out. That's their offense. So I think our defense is going to have a really good chance to put on a show. Who wins that battle, man? I think it could be a coin flip because it could come down to one pass breakup. It could come, one blown coverage. Bobby said the other night he thought this game was going to come down to one single turnover, and he's probably right. So if I had to pick one, I would probably pick the defense because they're playing lights out lately. The secondary, that is.
Yeah. And Eric Reed, I know, was banged up, but will be in there tonight. Actually, Rivera talked about kind of his leadership as far as taking care of his body. That's pretty cool. So Eric Reed really giving it his all already out there, and it's showing for the Panthers. So
he better be signed to another contract after this season too, or else me and Tupper are gonna have to have a quick talk.
Yeah, I think that this is such a big defensive game for the Panthers. I think we talked to Lauren Brownlow, by the way. You can check out that podcast. No wonder it feels like I just talked to you guys yesterday because I did.
Literally.
But we had a podcast with Lauren Brownlow. We talked about where this lies in your benchmark of the Panthers season. This is a big offensive test. I think this can show how good your defense really is. It stinks that it's on a short week. I think if you're played a regular Sunday game, this game might go very differently. But this will be a big one for those corners, and especially Dante Jackson, if he wants to stay in that Rookie of the Year talk.
Oh, wait, is he in it?
Well, in verbal talk, but maybe not on the ESPN lists.
Okay.
Yes,
he's in Panthers fans talk, but media wise, they ain't even talking about him.
Yeah, and one of the things in this whole matchup is we're gonna bring on some comments here. J-Rod mentioning that Dante might actually take some snaps covering AB. I mean, they were talking about this on WFNZ today. Is who's gonna get who? I don't think it's so clear cut anymore with the way that teams move wide receivers and defensive backs around.
Yeah.
I'd like to see. Hopefully it goes the good way, but I would love to see Dante Jackson play some snaps on Antonio Brown and it go pretty well. Does that worry you, or would you like to see the rookie get some of those looks?
Bradbury shadowed Mike Evans basically the whole game.
Yeah, but these are two different types of receivers we're talking about.
Yeah, two totally different. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Today is Dante Jackson's birthday. Happy birthday, Dante. 23rd birthday, young man out here doing his thing. And I understand it's his birthday. He's excited. Clearly, he was told that he will have an opportunity to guard AB from what he stated. He was like a response to a reporter. Reality is AB lines up everywhere. He even plays some slot here and there. So do not be surprised to see D-Jax on AB. Do I want to see it? Really doesn't matter to me. This is the first time in a long time I'm very confident with these young guys. I really feel like they can line up with anybody. And I truly believe that. And I truly believe we can play with any team in the NFL offensively and defensively as far as the secondary is concerned and our linebackers are concerned. I have no worries about D-Jax. If he lines up with AB, it's going to be a show.
Yeah, well, I think, one of the things that we've talked about a few times on the podcast is how Jackson has the speed, but when you start getting physical receivers like Julio Jones, Mike Evans, even Dez, I'll throw his name out there, you kind of want Bradbury there, but I don't know if the Steelers really pose that physicality that you'd see. So I think that Dante Jackson they can afford to move Dante Jackson around the way they think will benefit the defense best.
And I think straight up that if I have a pick, I've put Dante on AB the entire game. Just go ahead and put him out there. Yep. Put him out there so you can let that speed show.
Well, hey, we're going to keep it moving right along here. Again, we're going to be on just until about 8 or so. Maybe we'll stay a couple more minutes. But let's move on to one of the bigger matchups of the game. They were talking about it on the Sports Hub today, talking about two different running backs. But they were saying they missed the whole power running back against a elite middle linebacker. The running game has changed so much that their receivers now basically you miss that hard nose running back that's going to try to run through a linebacker, and I think you might get a little bit of that tonight when you start talking about Luke Kuechly versus James Conner. Conner has that power to him. I think this is going to be a pretty good test as far as even in the pass game too. James Conner, you mentioned it last on the podcast, Bobby. If they can limit the amount of carries that James Conner can have by shutting it down early, it's a scary thing to say that you want to make the Steelers throw tonight, but that's kind of what you were getting to yesterday, right, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm all good for that.
The term you used was punch him in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all good for it. I mean, as the stats show, and I was kind of doing a little deep dive on Conner, who is an absolute stud, by the way. Whenever he carries the ball 20 more times, it's 100 yards guaranteed. If you notice the games he didn't carry the ball 20 times, he's been in the 40-ish to 60-ish range, and that's because they're playing catch-up. Big Ben, over the last year and a half, which is what we spoke about yesterday, in those moments, he is a pick or two waiting to happen once they get down. If we can get up early in this game, eliminate them going to James Conner, forcing Ben Roethlisberger to have to toss the rock across the field, he's going to give us one or two. Once we get up by a touchdown or two, hopefully, he's going to be playing from behind, and he hasn't been accurate playing from behind. And just be completely honest with you, looking at this game as a whole, I don't see one reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers should win this game tonight.
Well, and I don't actually have it on my a graphic for it. Shame on me. But I think another big thing is this Panthers D-line, which we've been talking about all year, going up against this pretty solid Steelers O-line. I know. I think I saw Villanueva's given up the least pressures this year. I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that's a big one too. I didn't have that up on the graphic either. But I think defensively, yes, it's if they can get to Ben, and also I guess you're kind of asking for a lot here. If you can shut down the run and get to Ben, that's kind of a big key to this game. But I think it does start with setting the tone early with people like Luke Kuechly on James Conner, and that includes the passing game too. I know he's not a Le'Veon Bell out there, but he's impressing a lot of people, and rightfully so. So, let's get into some of these. We're gonna bring in again. We're gonna bring in all your comments. If you have any, throw them in. I've been reading them on the side there. Possibly to see CJ tonight. Who knows? I know CJ's expressed his words on Twitter about I don't know, maybe about where he's gonna play next year or how he feels about this team. But
who cares?
I know, Chris, you said that we just haven't had our chance to use CJ the way we want to. If the Panthers go up early in this game, I think this is a perfect scenario to pound the rock with CJ Anderson. You don't want to be killing Christian McCaffrey out there with the Steelers defense, right?
No, sir.
Hey, what's going on with the map behind you? This is a new map behind you. Can you tell us what's going on here? You don't have to move the camera. But
well, now I have to. I mean, you
okay,
do the whole thing.
you can do
but,
that too.
How do you tell him to tell you about something and then tell him not to tell you about it.
Yeah,
That's
I
basically
mean,
what you did.
I'm gonna tell you.
I didn't want like the camera to fall over. We've already had a a rough start.
Can you zoom out on me a little bit because it looks like it's.
No, you're good. You're perfect.
Is that a good one?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
So this is a map of the continental United States, Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, all the stuff down here at the bottom. Each of these pins represents an away game for the Panthers I've been to in my life, except for this one. This is from when we went to the draft.
Oh, nice. Oh, so
Yeah.
now I know
Nice.
what you're doing with those pins. He always runs into the stadium. And he goes, "I got to go buy something."
Yeah.
And I'm like, at the other team's pro shop? Like, what's going on here? Now I get
And
it. Now I get it.
occasionally you can't get them in the store because they sell out real quick.
Okay.
But they're always on eBay. So.
Got you.
But this one's my favorite one. This is actually from the first game ever at Clemson.
Oh, first Panthers game ever. Very nice.
They gave that away to people who went. I did not go. Actually, that's my second favorite one. I don't know if you can see up here with this one, but it's actually a Super Bowl 38 champions pin.
Wow.
Wow.
Wait, time out. What do you mean champions?
Like they
Patriots
won.
pin?
No, hold on, check it out.
It's a Panthers
What
pin
was
that
it?
was made. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
All right,
You
we
know how, like,
got to
they
keep
throw
moving,
a-
Chris. I didn't expect a 5-minute class here.
Well, you know what you asked.
You did ask then.
Hey,
That's on you, Ricky Bobby.
We're gonna bring up a new game here that we have, filling in the blanks. It's called. We did it last week on the Bucks post game, but basically we're gonna throw up a card there with either one or two blanks, and we'll go around the room here, and we'll also go around social media and get some of your comments. So we got 3 of them to go through here. Let's bring up the first one. The Steeler who poses the biggest threat to the Panthers tonight is who? We'll start with you, Chris.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Really? Wow, that is not who I expected you to say.
Well, he's got multiple sexual assault allegations and just men running around in tight pants. You don't know what he's going to do.
The biggest on-field threat to the Panthers, Chris. Who's that?
Probably James Conner.
Okay. Bobby, what do you got?
The referees.
Oh, I like that.
We are in Hines.
Bobby's been talking about the home cooking lately.
Yeah, man, we are in Hines, and it's not a place that you want to attempt to play from behind. It's not as bad as New Orleans, but they do have some fishy stuff that goes on there from games that I've seen. And you don't want to leave the game in the referee's hands. If we get a great play, don't get caught holding. Just, the small stuff. Keep your hands off, play good defense, just small things.
Yeah, I think this is one of those games. We saw that happen in the 49ers. I mean, I'm going way back now, but to that NFC Championship, the playoff game that they played against the 49ers and lost at BOA. I think that game got away from them early with dumb penalties. I think that's a big one for them tonight too. I'll throw it. We get some comments coming in. Juju, of course, Connor. Injuries is a good one. I'll throw it out there again. I think I'm just really worried about Jesse James. I know he's not like an elite tight end, but when you play a team like the Steelers and you have AB and Juju and Connor and Big Ben and you're all just focused on these guys, A, the tight end, and B, someone you're not thinking of, I'm a little worried about Jesse James and if someone like Mike Adams has to be on him. I don't really know. Who
Mike Adams has played pretty solid this year.
He has, but he's still, I don't know. He does
I'd
have
say
3 picks this year.
Was Eric Reed's first game the R words?
Yes. No, it was the game after that.
No, it was just
Or the game before.
No,
no. Eric Reed played that game.
No,
because
his
he gave
first
up the
game was at home.
touchdown.
His first game was at BOA.
It was after the bye week, wasn't it?
Yeah, they played. Who the hell did they play? The
Giants?
Yeah.
No. Was it the Giants? I
Yeah,
think the
it
R
was-
words
I
was
think-
the first game.
No, it wasn't. It was a home
was it?
game. I promise you. I'm pretty sure it was the Giants game.
Okay. I would say since that first game, the secondary has been pretty steady, especially the safeties. I know we were all worried about, Tar Heel legend, Denoris Cersei, and he took care of himself. But I think since his second game where he got his legs back under him, that the safeties have been something you want to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the stats show that.
I like it. All right, let's pull up another card here. And thanks to you guys on Twitter. I've been putting them up on the screen. I know Chris and Bobby don't really get the studio view here. You can't really see what I'm throwing up, but some good stuff coming in from social media. So we'll pull up card number 2. Tonight's leading rusher will be X, and the leading receiver, and this is for both teams, will be who? Bobby, we'll start with you. Who comes up on this top out of both teams, the leading rusher in this game?
Leading rusher for Carolina will be Cam Newton. Of course, leading rusher for the Steelers is going to be Connor.
All right, and what about the leading receiver? Who you got?
Receivers I'm going to go Juju for the Steelers. I think he's going to have a big game tonight. I'm talking like 120 plus, I think. And for Carolina, it's so difficult to always predict this. But Carolina, I'm actually going to go Greg Olsen tonight. I take that back. I'm going to go Christian McCaffrey, as odd as that may sound. I think he's going to lead us in receiving yards.
Wow. Chris, who you got?
I'm really going to blow your mind. I think Curtis Samuel's going to lead us in rushing and receiving tonight.
Ooh.
Wow.
That might be a scorcher, but we give him the rock a couple times. He's averaging like 15 yards a carry.
I'm gonna go with with James Conner being the leading rusher, and
that's a no-brainer.
And I'm gonna go with the leading receiver being Devin Funchess. How about that?
I like that one. I got torched on Twitter this week, by the way.
Over
the last 2 days, I've had a bunch of anti-Funchess lovers, and they've really let me have it for saying that I'm going to be sad if he leaves. And they're like,
well,
we don't need him.
It always sucks when you develop somebody and then you got to let them walk.
That's my sole point. Yeah, that was my point. It just sucks to see.
It happened with Norwell. Happened with Josh. You can't keep everybody.
Can't.
The Eagles let Reggie White walk. You think they wanted to?
Yeah, right.
All right, we have a few more minutes. Let's pull up one more card, guys. I think this is we got one more. Here we go. The most important key to a Panthers victory tonight is what? Bobby, we'll throw that over to you.
No turnovers.
I like it.
Protect the ball.
Nice and quick.
Yep. Just protect the ball, baby, and we won this game.
Chris, what do you got? Most important key tonight for the Panthers?
Offensive consistency.
There you go. I'm going to throw it out there. One thing that Cam says, and they weren't doing for a while, and then they started to do pretty well. But I think it's start fast. I think you have to. You cannot come from behind against this team, against the Steelers. Yeah. This needs to be a game where the Panthers come out of the gate doing what they did in Tampa. And you mentioned Bobby on the podcast that a lot of people got kind of upset about the comeback by the Bucs, but at the same time, maybe Norv reeled it in. I don't think this is a team that you can reel it in on.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, Bobby said it perfectly. There's no reason to put the full complement of the playbook out there.
Not against the Bucs, definitely.
Yeah, that game was in control. We could have probably played 10 players on offense and still won.
Yeah. Just going through some of these comments on social media, we got no turnovers, score touchdowns, stop the run, create turnovers, hit Big Ben. I think that's something you need to do early as well. What else we got? Stop the run, make Big Ben throw. That's a scary one. And then that's the ironic thing about the Steelers this year, Bobby, is that's actually what we want to do. I know obviously that's what you want to do with Bell too. But generally, I don't know. Generally, you wouldn't say I want Big Ben to throw to AB and co against our secondary, but I think you do.
Yeah, you definitely do. So it's weird because 2 years ago I wouldn't be saying this, but I'm saying it now.
And you got a SupDen comment. What's up? Always like the SupDens. Those are cool. Well, you can do those at any time, by the way. It doesn't need to be a card or anything. So and I think that actually, if you look at Pittsburgh, they're one of the worst teams in the league at scoring in the first quarter. So
no, that's us.
Well, them too. You really
yeah, but we're negative 36 in the first quarter.
Okay, but I'm talking defensively. That's what you need to do. You need to they need to shut this team down and kind of go on the run early. But
yeah, if there was ever a time for our D-line to show up, hello.
This is the big one.
Yeah.
Well, we have a few minutes left, so I'm going to bring it back to the cameras here. I don't know what you're pointing to.
The game's getting ready to start.
Oh, yeah. No, we're going to our game picks. This is the perfect time. Good. So let's throw this out there, guys. What, Bobby, you teased everyone on social media. We'll make it. I
didn't tease anybody.
We'll make it quick. We do it against the spread as well. Hey, the Steelers are what are they, minus 3.5 tonight. We'll go around the room, pick against the spread, and also pick the winner. We'll do this quick so we can all get to the kickoff.
Cool stuff. I'm going to take the Panthers with the spread. I think Panthers win 38-34.
Oh, wow. did not expect that out of you. I'm gonna take
Really?
I'm gonna take them both. Although if this was less than 3.5, I probably would take the Steelers. I don't know if I'm gonna throw the Panthers up there to win, but I think this game will come down to less than 4 points, and it's gonna keep me up all night. I wish it would just be a blowout, but going Panthers. Chris, what do you
got? Panthers 128, Steelers 7.
Very NFL blitz-like from Chris. That's all we ask.
That is officially NFL blitz.
And your camera just came in crystal clear. I like that. So, anyway, hey, we're gonna hop off this game and see how it goes. Hey, shout out to who is it? Is it let me check this. Chris Rash is picking up against us this week. So good luck to him on the picks. We'll get.
There's no good luck to him. No.
We'll get the. Well, I just you hate to see people go 4-11 like Zach or like.
No, I don't hate to see it at all. I hope he doesn't get one game right. I hope you lose. I hope you suck this week and never come back. There we are, Chris.
All right,
I love
guys,
you, Chris.
We're hopping off. Keep pounding, guys, and hopefully we're talking tomorrow about a huge Panthers victory. Thanks for hopping on the pregame with us. We'll see you guys later. Keep pounding.
See you guys. Enjoy the game.